Searching for this all my life. You're just my type. I've been looking for a boy who can treat me right. Your dark hair, but those eyes so bright.
Hello, and welcome back to another week of shenanigans. I am back here in the studio in New York City today, ready to yap and gab with Gibson Johns, host of the iconic Gabbing with Gib podcast. We had Upfronts yesterday, my 40th birthday this past week. Lots to catch up on. But first of all, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me back. I feel like I'm your New York regular now.
You are. I love it. But thank you for the scheduling of today. So I have to tell you, because this didn't just happen to me today. It also happened to me yesterday.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. Okay, so if you guys listened to my podcast last week, you know that, yes, I've been a little depressed. I've been trying to snap out of it. I have been feeling better. I upped my meds. But I don't know. It's just, I think something internal that I've just like felt like I need a lot more sleep lately. And you know when you're in a hotel, there's the blackout curtains. I put my Calm app on. I don't have a child waking me up. And I'm never jet lagged. I always just adjust. But I also, and it's funny because normally when I'm in New York, I go out with my friends really late. I have several espresso martinis. I go to bed at 4, but if I have a podcast in the morning, I'm up ready to go, sometimes with last night's glam. This is actually fresh today. But it's like, when for the last 2 nights, because I'm recording my audiobook next week, so I'm trying to just be on vocal rest as much as possible, but I still do have to work. I still do have to talk. So I'm not smoking weed. I'm not drinking. I'm back on my Masked Singer diet.
Love
and
that
just
for
that
you.
whole regimen.
You've had the practice. That's great.
So we took a red eye on Saturday. We got in Sunday morning. We had rehearsal. And then we didn't want to do anything that night. So we go to bed early. I literally have the Calm app playing, set my alarm. Don't know how many times I hit snooze, whatever it was. Brock wakes me up and he's like very sweet. He's like, honey, what time do you have glam? And I'm like, and he goes, well, it's 8:50. And I'm like, what?
Fuck.
I literally wake up in the biggest panic because my glam was at 8. It's now 8:50. I'm sharing glam with Tamra. We have the same team, Priscilla and Julius, but it was also in Tamra's room, not in my room. Same hotel. Okay. But any other time, it's like they'd be knocking on my door.
Right, totally.
I set an alarm. I'm an adult. I am 40 years old. I should not have slept through my alarm.
But you know what? I think all the factors that you mentioned make sense to me.
All of it.
There
was a second factor last night that may have played a role.
Post Upfronts
I took 2 sleep gummies. Because
2?
It was only 10 milligrams.
Got it.
5 doesn't really hit me.
Yeah, I get it.
And I was like, I need to get a good night's sleep. I wanted to be asleep early. I don't go to sleep before midnight Pacific time, really ever, unless I fall asleep in Summer's bed.
Okay.
But then I still like wake up, come downstairs, clean the kitchen, and then go to bed. So last night we have Tamra, Gina, Maddie and Joe, and a few of my New York friends over to watch the Knicks game. Everyone's like, we got to watch the Knicks game, you know? We have this massive suite, so let's take advantage of it. Let's order some room service and just have a very chill night where I'm not yelling over bar patrons.
But you're still being social.
Exactly. Like I wasn't ready to call it a night, but then at like about 10 o'clock, the game ends, everyone leaves, and I'm like, okay, I take 2 gummies, and then I'm like, I'm not getting tired. Now it's like midnight, it's 1 a.m., and I'm like, this is like 10 p.m. for me. My body is not ready to go to sleep, but I just, Calm app. I put on my nature sounds.
Love that for you.
Set my alarm for 8:40. Brock had to be up at 8 for a meeting. He gets up at 8. He's like, honey, what time? I was like, I checked my alarm. It's set 8:40. I'm like, we're good to go. I have plenty of time. Brock gets back from his meeting at 10:10. He's like, what are you doing? I was like, oh! Again, wake up in a panic. I hadn't heard from you yet. And so I'm like, maybe he forgot too, or maybe he slept in too. No, you were there waiting for me. And I could not have felt more bad. I was just like, oh my God, that's so irresponsible of me. It is so out of character. Then to top it off, I have my mom texting me because she sees my location.
Right.
And she's like, I thought you had a podcast. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
oh my God. She's like, that's really unlike you, Scheana. I'm like, yeah, I know. It is.
You
I
know
already
what?
feel bad. Okay. And then I'm like, oh my God, when Mark wakes up, he's going to be so mad at me. Like, we spend so much time, you know, just like
Preparing for the episodes.
prepping. And he
Right.
did all of this. He
Oh.
sent me with my book, my manila envelopes, my cards, which thank you to whoever pointed out.
They're
It's funny because
stunning.
we're at Fringe podcast studios right now. But someone was like, your cards have some fringe on them. And we now have new cards. So thank you for pointing that out because now we're fresh. So Mark made me new cards. He printed
They're
them out
crisp
for
and
me.
gorgeous.
Like we put so much work into this morning's podcast and I just slept.
You know what? As I told you, shit happens.
It does.
And I actually think that like those nights, like for me when I have like a really early morning flight, I'm like, that's when I'm the most nervous to like
Yes.
wake up and I can't go to bed because you're in your head about it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like that's where you were last night. So
I know.
it's
but I'm
okay. We
just
still
like,
found a time to make it work. Where
I'm so
it's
thankful.
It's post dinner time here in New York. We're like, this is the end of our night, which
no,
I kind of love.
literally,
It's kind of fun.
It's like we're pushing like
Shenanigans
10
after
PM here.
dark.
Shenanigans after dark.
It's kind of fun.
Should that be a new series in New York?
Listen,
Wait,
it
you
kind of
guys,
fits.
I kind of like that.
Hello. We're getting a nod from the producer. Hello.
Okay, I think that's gonna be a new thing.
I love that.
I just met a bunch of the next gen NYC kids.
Okay, fun.
So I did Upfronts with Brooks and Ariana, and then Rylee Burris was
Right.
just at the Bravo effing Bravo show that I did.
Fun.
Fucking doll. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with her. She's so adorable. So I'm like, when I'm back in New York, I got to get you
Have
on the
them
pod.
right,
Let's
yes,
talk about all the
100%.
things.
That's so fun.
But yeah, it was
I
so
love
much
that.
fun. Upfronts was so fun.
So is everyone there? Like, are you there representing the Valley? Is that like what it?
I guess
Okay,
technically.
that's fun. That's
so
great.
no one else from the Valley or Vanderpump Rules was there. So I mean, Brock and I were the sole representations of those groups.
And how
of
does
West
that work?
Coast
Like
shows.
they reach out and they're like, we want you to come specifically.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I got an email and I'm like, okay, it's on Mother's Day. And then I have to already be gone. Today's my mom's 60th birthday. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yes.
And I knew I was already going to be missing that. But now I'm like, oh, now I have to miss Mother's Day too. But I'm like, I'm not going to say no to Upfronts. That's a huge
it's
thing.
a huge deal.
Mother's Day is just a day on the calendar. I'm going to lie to my 4-year-old and tell her Mother's Day is on Saturday. So she
You
didn't
can
feel
still
like
get
she was
away with
missing
that.
it.
Exactly.
I was like, we're celebrating all weekend. She's like, wait, today's Mother's Day? I was like, it's today. So she also got me a
Aw.
pinata that we're going to do for a belated Mother's
That
Day
is
thing
really
when I
cute.
get home.
Oh my God.
But yeah, so here on Mother's Day, but it was so fun because you have people from every show, you know, OC, Beverly Hills, all of the other
Pretty much
housewives,
every
Atlanta,
housewives, yeah.
and everyone. So
Yeah. What's it like when you're backstage with everybody? Are you asking for the tea? Are you just is it small
little
talk?
bit,
Is it
yeah.
What's the vibe?
yeah, so I was hanging out with Dorit and Erica a bunch
Okay.
because I only get to really, even though we all live in LA, I only really get to spend time with them at events or
Right.
BravoCon. There's always so much going on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, ladies,
This is
like
a smaller
let's
group,
spill.
right? Uh-huh.
Yeah. And Tamra, I talk to Tamra all of the time,
Yeah, you guys are
especially with
close.
everything that Teddy was going through. Like, I mean, we were talking every day.
Mm.
So I was hanging out with them a bunch, but then I'm like, okay, I need to go make my way over to my Atlanta girls and Potomac's there. And then I saw Brooks and Ariana were just kind of sitting by themselves and not really socializing. I'm like, I mean, they're the youngest people here
Yeah, they
for
probably
sure.
feel like the kids. Yeah.
They might feel a little intimidated, even though
And they're
they've
new.
been around this, you know, for so long in their lives. So I went and introduced myself to them,
Oh, that's
hung out with
nice.
them for a bit. And then Maddie and Joe, I've been with the last couple days. And Aisha from Below Deck.
Oh my gosh.
We
a
had
fun
the
crew.
most spontaneous day yesterday. We were walking to go meet Shep and some of the Southern Charm, Molly, Vanita,
Right.
Maddie Joe, and Alex Baskin of their show,
Okay.
Aaron. So we go meet them at Tavern on the Green, and we were staying so close at is it the Lot or the Lottie? Palace.
I think it's the lot. I think it's lot. I
Okay.
think.
L-O-T-T-E.
Yeah.
Nicest freaking hotel ever, like up there with the plaza.
That's
for
where they
me.
film. Isn't that with the courtyard?
Gossip Girl.
Yeah, Gossip Girl.
Yes.
That's the school and Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
External. Yeah.
So we were staying there, so it's close enough to walk to Tavern on the Green.
Yeah,
So we're
it's
starting
nice.
to walk through Central Park, and the first person with the pedicab, they're like, "Oh, and we're like, no, we're good." Second person, we're like, "No, we're fine." The third guy, I'm like, "Let me hear your pitch. Let's just give it to me."
Okay.
You know,
Shark Tank vibes.
And so he was like, okay, so you girls, so beautiful. One of you free, the other half off. And I go, well, what are we talking? Like, how much do these run? And I look and it's like $265 or something. But he's like, for you, $75. total. And we're like, done, let's do it.
I would have been like, which one of us is half off?
Right? Who's free? So we end up on this tour that was like, it was the most beautiful day in New York City.
Amazing.
Sun shining, not a cloud in the sky, absolutely beautiful. And we're just like, fuck it, $50 each. You know, we tip him, we hop on, gives us a full tour, takes 1 million photos of us,
Amazing.
drops us off right at the front of Tavern on the Green. I'm like, that was so fun.
That's
I
white
never
glove
would have done that.
service. I love it.
Was. So we just had such a good time. It was like a really great pregame for BravoCon.
Yeah, it's a mini
It
BravoCon
was.
meetup, and like, I just love when there's the crossover of like all those people, and it's just imagining what you guys are talking about and stuff,
Yeah.
and like. I think it is telling who they choose to represent. I mean, it's a huge deal to represent the network in
Huge
that way.
honor.
It's
I
for
would
all the
never turn
advertisers
that
and stuff,
down.
and you're on stage
Yeah.
at Rockefeller, the
At,
theater, whatever it's called. I forget what it's
Radio
called.
City Music Hall.
Radio City. It's
Yeah.
late. It's late.
And
I'm
being
forgetting.
in there on stage, looking at those seats, I'm like, Paige and Hannah sold this out not once, but twice. You were there?
Oh yeah.
Dude.
I'm their producer, so I want to.
Oh my
It
gosh!
was
No way.
Fucking incredible.
Oh
Just
my
like
God,
being in that
major.
atmosphere, I'm like, oh, I am so proud of my friends.
Yeah, like thinking, visualizing that
Yes.
literally.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
oh my
what
God.
the
And I've seen like the biggest people. I've seen like Haim there. I've seen Lizzo there. I've seen like the biggest fucking artists there. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
No,
It's
that
amazing.
place is iconic.
Yeah.
Like I just think of like the VMAs back in the
yes.
day.
Oh my God. I think Britney and Madonna kissed on that stage. So.
Right? No, iconic.
Yeah.
So
I
it
think
was
it's great
so
that
much
you were
fun.
there. That's
And yeah,
amazing.
just such an honor. When we all got lunch after, Vanita, it was so funny. She's like, who says the network doesn't have favorites? And she's like, should I make that my caption?
I mean, not no.
You know? But yeah, and then we had a bit of a crossover at my birthday party too.
Yes.
Luke from Summer House, he was in LA.
Right.
So him and Brock went to a rugby game together,
Fun.
and then he came to my birthday. We had Demi from Secret Lives. She was in town.
Love to me.
Love her.
She's a
Her and I
queen.
talk almost every day.
How did you guys first connect?
My podcast,
Oh
actually.
yeah, you had her on.
So I had Taylor and Macy on, and then they told me that they were like, so who's your favorites after watching the season? I'm like, well, of course, like you two, like love. And then I was like, also, you know, Jesse and Demi. And they're like, well, Jesse loves you. She watches the show. And I was like,
Got
oh, no
it.
way. I'll have to get them on the podcast. And then Jesse did it. And then I went to Salt Lake to film just like some TikToks and content. I was doing a podcast with Lisa Barlow.
Right.
And then I ended up doing one with Demi also.
Love it.
And we just hit it off right away and have been friends ever since. And then they came over for family dinner, homemade pasta night a couple weeks ago.
So
and Brock's
fun.
mom was in town, so they got to talk about just like growing up Mormon and being in the church and all
Wow.
that. Because
Wow.
Brock was actually raised Mormon.
Yeah, I forgot that. That's so wild.
Yeah.
Wow. So she was at the party.
Yeah, so she was there and who else? Sutton was supposed to come.
Oh, really?
She RSVP'd and then she was a no-show, now that I think about it.
I feel like maybe Sutton right now, because she went on Jeff Lewis and kind of got grilled in a big way. And I was like, I don't know if you should be doing press right now. You know what I mean? I don't know if you should be doing like, I think between seasons sometimes, especially if you're like in the hot seat, I feel like it's a good time to like lay low.
Right.
You know, and not show your face too often.
Yeah.
But it would have been nice if she came to your birthday
Yeah,
party.
but it was fun. I mean, we probably had
it looked
150
amazing.
people there.
I loved the Death to the 30s. I
Yeah.
loved the theme
Funeral
was great.
theme.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I just said that. I was like, you know, it's like a death to my 30s. And I was like, oh, that's a good theme.
light bulb moment.
Yeah. And I do feel like I was kind of dreading turning 40. I was so excited for it. And then I just kind of got down about it. And then I've just been a mix of emotions. But that party was up there with my wedding. Like, no
Really?
joke. One of the most incredible events I've ever been to. Showered with so much love.
Yeah.
My cake, we couldn't find it. So it comes time for the cake and it's getting late. It's bedtime for the kids. And I was like, we just need to sing. Like, I don't, it doesn't matter where the cake is. Like, we need to sing before Summer falls asleep. And so they're looking everywhere. And one of the moms from Summer's school made the cake for me.
Okay.
And her Instagram is at momsdessertco_. Just want to put that out there because she is incredible if you're in LA. So she did all the cake pops for both of Summer's birthday parties and then the cake for mine. I found this inspo on Instagram somewhere and I'm like, I want to do this. She recreated it perfectly. We can't find it. The delivery driver, as we're like, where could it be? They start walking up and down the street to neighbors' houses. They found it sitting outside
No.
of the neighbor's house. It had been there since 2 p.m. We're now at about 9 p.m. melted completely off. I am going to pop up a picture because we were going to post one of those, but thankfully she took a photo of it before. And I mean, it was beautiful, but I just laughed it off. I felt more bad for her because
Right,
like, she
she
put
didn't have her moment.
so much effort into this.
But it was sort of half and half, right? I think I saw a picture of it.
So it was like R.I.P. 30s,
Yeah, it was perfect.
hello 40s.
Yes.
And Brock brings it to me, and it's just, I mean, it's so, like, it looked like a coyote got to it. And I laughed it off, and I'm like, you know
it
what?
can't go off without a hitch. Like, something has to happen, and you just laugh off the, like, if that's the worst that happened at your 40th birthday party, that's pretty good.
She was like, you were such a good sport. And I'm like, life's too short. And I'm like, it's not like it was your fault. And I go, and even if it was, who cares? It's a cake.
Yes.
Like, we got a photo of it. I'm like, I feel bad that you put so much work into this.
It still probably tastes good.
It did. We bit it. It was still good.
Okay, good.
But yeah, it was just the most amazing party ever.
When you have I feel like for your 40th birthday, it's like you want people there who really just mean everything to you. And like that's, you just, when you were thinking about like, but you also have to consider like public and private stuff every time. Are you like, fuck, like, are people going to like think that I didn't invite this person and XYZ kind of like, do you think about that when you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I specifically did not invite certain problematic men who were in our friend group because I didn't want my friends to be uncomfortable with them there. I'm not going to invite Jax or Jesse. No. I'm not going to invite Tom Sandoval, but did I get a snarky belated birthday text? Thanks for the invite. Of course.
Oh, yeah?
I just didn't even respond.
From Sandoval?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm like, dude, come on. First of all, like, I invited Ariana, but still, I'm like, I'm not inviting any of these dudes. Marciano. But Demi was coming. And there's a lot of
from
stuff
season 2.
That I know there's been a little bit on Vanderpump Villa. There's going to be more that plays out on Secret Life.
Oh,
so I'm like, I'm sorry. I can't have you here. But it was so hard for me. And then it was like, I didn't invite Jeremy Maddox because also I'm like, I don't know how things are with you and your sister right now. And he just said some shit about Janet on Instagram.
I didn't see that.
I'm like, and that was hard for me because I'm like, he's like a little brother to me. But also my girls have done so much for me and have helped with so much to plan this party. I'm like, I just can't have anyone who's been slightly problematic to my girls. I'm trying to be more of a girl's girl. I'm trying to just be better and not please everyone. So if I upset the dudes, sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. And I think just thinking through those things is showing that. And also like your birthday party is not a place that you want any sort of criticism or drama about any of that kind of stuff. So it's like, it's not worth it even just like, especially for a big birthday like that. Like you can have little separate celebrations or hey, let's get dinner XYZ and commemorate it. Like it doesn't mean the person doesn't mean anything to you. That's not what it means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But okay, so I do want to get into some Summer House stuff, but we're going to take a quick little break and then get back into it. All right, are you looking for something absolutely delicious to drink? Because if so, then Simply Pop is for you. This is a new fruit-forward bevy of prebiotic sodas made with 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health and vitamin C and zinc to support immune function. And Simply Pop contains the same real fruit flavors you know and love and no added sugar, which makes for a soda that even a juice would drink. Now, my personal favorite flavor is pineapple mango. Anything pineapple and mango, like, please give it to me. I also love strawberry, but there's just something about the pineapple mango that just does it for me. It's a juicy prebiotic soda. Say that with me. A juicy prebiotic soda. Doesn't that sound so delish? Well, it is. Okay. I still can't get over the fact that it has no sugar added. It's like you can't beat that when you're getting this incredible flavor. When you add the 6 grams of prebiotic fiber to support gut health, like, come on. Okay, that's incredible. Paired with zinc and vitamin C to support immune health. I mean, you can't beat this. Sip on the juicy side of life. Find out where you can try Simply Pop at cokeurl.com/simplypop. That's cokeurl.com/simplypop. Okay, you guys have heard me talk about this brand so many times, and that is because it is one of my favorite brands to dress my daughter in. And I'm just obsessed. The material, the patterns, everything. The Rylee Cru collective combines art and imagination, and they offer unique clothing for modern children and moms like myself. Each collection features hand-drawn illustrations paired with beautiful muted tones and timeless designs. Rylee Cru is also more than just a clothing brand. That's right. It's a one-stop shop that caters to you and your children at every stage of life, whether it's welcoming the newest member of your family in Quincy May, dressing your child in Rylee Cru for their first day of school, or celebrating special occasions in a Nora Lee dress. They have an outfit for every occasion. Nora Lee is a children's occasion wear brand, so it is supplying you with the most adorable wedding and ceremony styles. They've got tutus, and my personal favorite, they have matching mama and mini styles for those special moments. Rylee Cru Collective's spring, summer lines have all launched, and they are the perfect everyday essentials for your kids. Whether it's warm weather wardrobe or matching swimwear for the family, you can plan a matching moment for mom, dad, and the kids on your summer vacation coming up. Visit RyleeandCrew.com/shenanigans and use code GOODASGOLD for 20% off your first order. That's RyleeAndCRU.com/shenanigans. And use code FAMOUS for 20% off orders of first-time customers. All right, so I just caught up on the most recent episode of Summer House today because Jesse Solomon, when we were out the other night, was saying all of this shit, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, is this on the reunion or? And he was like, no, on this week's episode. And I realized I was a week behind. The high school prom photo. Mm-hmm. He said he tried to get that girlfriend from the photo, like his high school girlfriend's permission for the photo. And she was like, absolutely not. So they had to blur her.
Oh, I didn't even notice they blurred her out. Oh my God, that is too funny. Yeah. His hair in that photo was like,
what
amazing.
Photo are you talking about? I'm like, maybe I looked away, but then I realized I was an episode behind. So
I did not. Wow. Okay.
I caught up today and okay, I need to know, what are your thoughts on Lindsay's response to Carl saying that, you know, she's still embarrassed supposedly over Carl calling their wedding off and why she didn't support the launch of Soft Bar?
Yeah. I just don't think that she's obligated to support the launch of Soft Bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't love the conversation they had on camera, especially like knowing that it's gonna be on the show.
Yeah.
I think that she's totally entitled to have that reaction. And I think that like something that reminded me of, and the Sierra West stuff still reminds me of, is like just how little time any of those people on that show have to process anything, because like it's the reunion and then a month later they're back into filming for the summer. And it's like such a pressure cooker. So, you know, it was an intense reaction, but I think that she was entitled to have that reaction. Yeah. And I don't think it surprised Carl either. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, she was blindsided by him, publicly humiliated. Yeah. You know, that's her best friend, her partner, her fiance. Like that was her everything of 8 years. So it's like, why would she go to her ex's soft launch event just because you're filming? Like, you don't have to be at every event.
And also, like we saw last season, she doesn't necessarily believe in the idea. You know what I mean? And like I think that she's expressed
we saw that.
Right. And like, so I think it would have been maybe fake for her to do that anyway. And she didn't want to be fake. And one thing I thought was interesting actually is that like she hadn't seen it. And even though they had filmed the reunion, so it sounds like they didn't get all the episodes before the reunion, which I think is interesting. Because in the message, that's what Lindsay said.
Right.
So I found that kind of, that raised an alarm for me about like what they've all seen going into the reunion they already taped. You know what I mean?
And also, like, no one wants to fight rush hour, Jersey, the city type of traffic to go and support
bust out there. Yeah, I don't know. I think that, and she was pregnant, and she's pregnant. Yeah, I don't think she had any obligation to go sit outside in a hot day in Jersey.
That was all very valid. And, you know, it's like, she's not a person that is going to be supporting Carl.
No,
I don't. That's not. I think
it's an expectation that's unrealistic to have, and I think there is a lot of projection that happened in that moment, and that's.
So wait, is Soft Bar open now? Because I know we have merch from it. Brooklyn.
It's not open.
But does he have a location?
Yes, so in this episode, he said that he signed a 7-year lease on a place.
Okay, so he did sign it, because I know he said he was thinking about it.
Yeah, I know that he signed a lease on a place. I saw something on Instagram. If it's the same place, I know that he signed a lease in Greenpoint of like a garage type place that he has to like build out. I don't know what the status of it is, but it's not
Yeah.
open as far as I know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I do understand though, Carl wanting to get some sort of event in. You know, it's like you only have that 2.5
I don't
months
blame
while
him
you're
for that.
filming.
No, I don't blame him
And
for
so
that.
it's like, yeah, it wasn't open yet, but it's like, here's this idea. And, you know, hopefully it comes to fruition and does well.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a cool concept.
I think it's like, of course, I think it's great that he promoted it on the show.
Yeah.
I think you wish that he could have opened it by the time that like people were seeing it on the show.
Of course.
But I know that
well, something about her.
right. Well, that alignment is really hard to do. I
Yeah.
think, you know, and I feel like somebody else has had like a product launch that like wasn't available. I mean, She by Sheree is the famous one from
Right.
the Bravo world, you know, where it's just like
Yes.
it airs and it's like, wait, I can't order this or I
Right.
can't go here. So
You think by the time it airs, it's going to be ready. And then
Yep.
sometimes it's
it
just not.
totally.
But, you know,
Yeah.
you got to get it in when you can. We only
I
film for
agree.
a short period of time.
You can still sell
so-
merch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's going to
exactly.
help fund
Brock
the.
wears that soft bar hat like
Love
almost
it.
daily. Still sticking with Summer House. Thoughts on Jesse and Lexi? Whose side are you on?
Oh my gosh. I thought I was so clear on where I was until they got back together this episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, you know what? Good for Lexi for like laying down the law. Even that they had that second scene back at her apartment
Yeah.
where it was like she like wasn't budging.
Mm-hmm.
And then they walk into that house together. We were all Paige and Lindsay reacting
Yeah.
to that. Like, what the fuck?
Right?
You know? And I also think that her coming after Sierra in this upcoming episode that we saw in the preview, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that is not the right place to place
That's
the
not
blame
it.
and to get
Yeah.
to place your anger just because you're back together with
Right.
him. So I was like kind of behind her in a bigger way before that episode because I thought that it did seem like he was kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth about
Mm-hmm.
the situation, like what they were talking about privately. And but now I'm a little bit more in the middle of it, I think. Because I think they're both kind of doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Right.
like some of the stuff with her family is a little bit off to me.
Would you take your mom to the box?
No, certainly not. No, the stuff that I've seen at the box, I don't want my mom to see that.
Right?
Yep.
I went to the box in London.
I bet that's even crazier.
There were multiple bodily fluids
Yep.
splashed.
Same with the events
Some
that I
were
saw.
red.
Some were red.
Yeah.
Some were white.
Mm-hmm.
There were different body parts happening and swinging
Yeah.
around. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So-
I think that I like compartmentalized most of that night. And then recently, my friends who I went to the box with, we were at dinner and they're like, remember when I was like, oh my God, no, I forgot that.
And don't remind me.
And now I can't unforget it again.
Yeah.
Forget it. Whatever.
Yeah. It's like, I would never do that. I'm not
Yeah.
like judging her for that. But the thing that I thought was weird was like, they had like Jesse and her family had like
Right.
a multiple hour conversation about their 6-week relationship so far. And I was just like, that's the part where I'm like, I don't know about this. Like this is
Yeah. Like I
bizarre.
love how close she is with
Same.
her
I think
family
it's
and all
sweet.
that. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But and also it's like if you go to the box one time and maybe you don't know what to expect and you're with your mom and you're like, oh my God, that was so awkward. But he said it's like they go regularly.
Yeah. And then he's like grinding up on her in front of it's like there's just
So
something
weird.
that like if I found myself in that situation.
To each their own.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm flip-flopping on that situation because I feel like every week it's kind of
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
off
that's very
on,
Scheana of you.
You know what? Normalize changing your opinion when you get new information.
Right.
So
Thank
I have no
you.
shame in that.
My sister told me recently that she had to block the flip-flop emoji on Instagram because
Stop.
I guess so many people commented it. I never saw it, but she was
Oh
like,
my
no, because I
God.
blocked it.
I didn't even know people use that for that. That's
Apparently.
kind of funny. You
Yeah,
should, like,
I didn't know that
you should
either.
like reclaim it and make merch with flip-flop emoji on it.
Yes. I do
that's a
have
thing.
one of my new songs on my EP. It's called Misunderstood. And my inspo for that song was Kelly Clarkson, Miss Independent, you know?
Love that song.
But there are parts in it where I just say all of the things that people have called me, like
Love
Miss
it.
Flip Flopper, Miss this, Miss that. It'll be out soon. I don't know when because I've just not had the confidence to put my music out yet.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. And also it's like do it when you're ready,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm like, the book is my priority first.
I completely that's great. And that's like such a firm
Yeah.
thing that's
Hard
happening.
date, July 22nd.
You know what I mean? It
You
is
haven't
sitting right
ordered
here.
it.
It's gonna be out.
MyGoodSideBook.com.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mhm.
Do we think that Summer House is ever going to like evolve where it maybe splits off? Like Vanderpump Rules in the Valley. Maybe Jesse Solomon, and I feel like you have to say his full name.
I know.
It's not just Jesse.
He's Jesse Solomon.
Jesse Solomon and Wes take over the summer house. And then Paige, Lindsay, and the girls are maybe on like a, not necessarily New York Housewives, but they do like the city sort of.
Oh, I've been advocating for that for like over a year at this point. I think it's, and because I just think that like, it's like, it's really hard for Bravo viewers to get invested in new people. And like at this point, people are extremely invested in Lindsay, Kyle, Amanda, Carl, Paige. Like those people have been around for 10 years now with us. And we want to see that because we're getting it, I think also on the Valley, it's like we kind of expect that now actually from the Summer House people. Like Lindsay has her baby. Like we want to see it, maybe not in the Summer House, but we want to see that portion of their lives. And I actually love the episodes of Summer House that are more focused in the city. I think it's kind of fun to see that.
Totally. I love that they finally started to make that transition because the first few years they never filmed in the city.
God, it'd be like 20 seconds. And now I think there's like a weekend in there that I think they don't even go out to the house and they film out there and just in the city. And like, I think that the interest in those episodes proves that people are interested in that.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
interested in their lives, not them in a share house.
Exactly. And I think that there's a total opportunity to do the Valley for New York.
I think so too.
And
Let's make it happen.
Yeah. And
because also like there's nothing normal about Lindsay going into a house with her ex with a baby.
Right.
I mean, it's bad enough when she's pregnant. You get it. It's the job. But in real life, outside of a television show, you would never fucking do that.
Totally. And it's also like the way that it's also, if you're her, it's like viewers want access to her and to follow the story. But then she's like, but if I go to the Summer House, like even every other week, it's still like sending a really weird message. And like, she doesn't want to do that
she's
probably.
There for her birthday with her ex. And like we never see her new dude.
But like she'd only keep doing that if like that's the only avenue for her to like tell her story on TV. And so like the time is right now though for them to like do this. And they need to do it.
They need to do it.
They need to.
Summer is approaching.
Especially like now we know like the Valley is sort of getting franchised with the Shaw's crew. Like
I know.
Like you have to give it for Summer House. Yeah. You have to.
Yeah, I think so too. I really do. Do you think that if they did do a spinoff that we could get Hannah back on?
I'm looking at you. I'd love it. I think that the audience has like really come back around to Hannah. She obviously had a really tough exit in the eyes of Bravo viewers. Yeah. But I think that the narrative has shifted a lot. I think a lot of that is helped by like Paige's trajectory and like her being tied to that. I think a lot of that is also tied to like questioning Kyle's narrative and what happened and like who you believe kind of and how that all went down. So I think that there would be open arms for Hannah to come back in some capacity. I just think it's more like, does she want to do reality TV?
Probably not. She doesn't need to.
The first time I did your podcast was with Hannah, and we were talking all about that. And she has amazing perspective on it. Yeah. But I know she's also really good at it. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, Paige and Hannah legitimately were the only reasons I started watching Summer House. I did not watch the first 2 seasons, even though we were the bridge to their show. I had no interest in it.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
And the second I met them at Betches, and then I knew they were on the show, I was like, okay, now I'm going to watch it for them.
They breathed new life into the show.
Yeah. And I mean, the day, if Paige is ever not on Summer House, like, I'm not going to watch it. I love everyone, but like.
Totally. And Paige is such a big star, and like, it's making me nervous a little bit how she's talking about reality TV in some of her interviews. And like, I totally understand why. I'm just sort of like, we need you on TV. Yes. You know? Even if it's not on Summer House, like some other way, you know?
Something.
Yeah.
We gotta keep her on.
We do.
Okay, I'm gonna take one more quick little break and then we'll be right back. Okay, we all hate doing chores at home, am I right? And if there's one thing you think I hate, it's probably taking out the trash, but no. It used to always be doing laundry. I'm fine with the washing and drying, but then once I have to fold it and do all of that, it's a whole job. However, let me tell you why Laundry Day is now my favorite day of the week. This is all thanks to Egyptian Rose laundry detergent pods from Laundry Sauce. I'm telling y'all, my clothes have never smelled better, that I actually enjoy doing laundry. They're these really powerful pods that are packed with bioenzymes that wipe out stains, all while leaving your clothes with a luxurious, long-lasting scent. I literally had someone the other day ask me what perfume I was wearing, and I was like, actually, I forgot a spray perfume. It is the laundry sauce that I'm using to wash my clothes. Like, imagine walking into a room. Instantly, you're turning heads because you smell incredible. Well, it all starts with Egyptian geranium and violet leaf, bringing a fresh green floral vibe, and a spicy kick of nutmeg adds warmth and depth, setting the stage for something truly special. If you love scents that make a statement, Egyptian Rose is the one for you. It's made for people who are confident, adventurous, and always leave an impression. So, are you ready to elevate your laundry game? Try Egyptian Rose from Laundry Sauce. And for a limited time only, our listeners get 20% off your entire order when you use code GOODASGOLD at laundrysauce.com. That's 20% off your order at laundrysauce.com with promo code GOODASGOLD. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. It's time to make Laundry Day the best day of the week.
There is tea to spill, and I am here for it. The wait for more episodes of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is over. The all-new season is now streaming on Hulu. We'll finally get to find out what's going on with our favorite saints and sinners. Are Taylor and Dakota still together? Are Jen and Zach still dealing with the aftermath of their trip to Vegas? Will Whitney be let back into the group after her actions last season? Plus, Demi and Jesse drama, Layla's shocking discovery, Miranda's arrival to clear up the swinging scandal, and more. This season is a tangled web of jealousy, exes, and drama, and I personally cannot wait to binge watch. It's going to be pure insanity. Don't miss the new season of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, now streaming on Hulu.
Okay, we're back. So
Okay, wait, before we get to the next topic,
Yeah.
we talked about your book for a second.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot has been happening in the past couple weeks.
Mhm.
Lisa was on Watch What Happens Live, and she's done a bunch of
saw that.
interviews
Yeah.
around Vanderpump Villa. And I
Mhm.
feel like she keeps being asked about this idea that you're spilling all this tea about her in the book.
Because
And
Kristen, yeah.
yeah.
What
So,
would-
I mean, just what do you feel about, I feel like she's kind of taking that moment to throw a little bit of shade toward your way. And
Yeah.
she's kind of implying that they're using it to sell books basically. And I feel like that's not, first of all, I think that you have every right to share whatever your experience is. But
Mhm.
what do you think of all that?
So when I saw the Watch What Happens Live clip, I mean, it was a little hurtful. You know, it's like now
Yeah.
I'm just one of 700 employees. Like, I used to be your go-to girl. I mean, there's, of course, things I talk about Lisa in the book. But when Kristen went on Bitch Bible and was like, oh, Scheana said there's a lot of tea she's going to spill. What I said to Kristen is, there are things that I've never felt comfortable talking about that I open up about in the book. Because I've always been just very loyal to Lisa, very much, I was her right hand for a long time. And there were a lot of situations that I've been put in, phone calls that were made, and things that just kind of shaped a big part of my life that I do discuss in the book. Is she going to be happy with everything I say in the book? Probably not. But it's my truth, and it's something that I never felt comfortable sharing. It's honestly a huge reason why I wanted to wait until Vanderpump Rules was done to write a book. And then before I knew it was even ending, I was like, you know what? This show's it could go on forever. Like, I just want to write my book. But then, boom, we're all, kicked to the curb and rebooted. So I am going to talk about my experiences because there are a lot of things that people don't know or people assume. And so it's not necessarily tea I'm spilling about Lisa. It's tea I'm spilling about myself.
Right, exactly.
This book is my memoir.
And she's involved in that story.
Of course. And she was, a huge part of my life for the last, 15,
Yeah. Oh my
16
God.
years. And we're definitely not as close as we used to be. I feel that relationship has been strained for years. A big thing was in 2020 when I suffered a miscarriage, and everyone else, even other former bosses and people, sent me flowers, phone calls, text messages, and I didn't hear from her at all. And that just really broke my heart because I'm like, wow, I definitely thought you would be one of the first people I would hear from. And after I had talked to Pandora, I was like, hey, is everything okay with your mom? She was like, yeah, why? And I'm like, I just haven't heard from her, and it's been a couple weeks. I just wanted to make sure she's okay because that's not like her.
Right.
Then it was like I don't get a call on my birthday, and then I have a miscarriage about a month and a half later, and she was like, "Oh, she probably didn't know." And so then Lisa did reach out because obviously Pandora told her.
Right.
And she was like, "I had no idea." I'm like, "Really?" Because it was like
Everywhere.
every news outlet, and like, isn't it kind of your job to know what's going
Keep
on
track
with your
of-
cast? And we're in this in-between time of seasons. Like, maybe you should know what's going on in our lives. So after that, it was heartbreaking to not.
That changed things for you.
Yeah. And so I was like, you know what? I've been your loyal server for so many years. And I guess we're just not that close anymore. But I'm sure, there's going to be things in there she's not too happy about. But it is my truth. It's my story. I think I'm honest. I think I'm fair. I'm not trying to paint anyone in a negative light. And I mean, no one has read the book yet. Literally,
Nobody
no
has.
one's read the book yet. So it's like people are just responding off things that I've either said or they've heard. But
Right. And also, it sounds like whatever you say in the book are things that are true, and they're things that are just your perspective on it.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like if you were to run into her, like she would know she would know that whatever you say in here is
Yeah.
also true. And so she
Yes.
can't accuse you of much.
Exactly. Like
right?
there's nothing defamatory in this book. It's just my truth. And, people can take it however they want, but I just felt like it was finally time for me to take the narrative back and to just put my pen to paper.
What do you think about how she sort of talks about the Vanderpump Rules cast now, and sort of, I feel like, I don't think she takes credit for like the big platforms that you've all built, but I do think that like there is maybe this holding on to from her side of like the power position that she had over all of you. What do you think about that?
I mean, I've seen comments where people are like, "Oh, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. Like
Right.
Lisa gave you this opportunity. Lisa made you. You owe her everything, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, first of all, Bravo gave me this opportunity. And also, without the success of VPR, which is due mostly to a messy group of friends. Of course, Lisa's name is attached to the show. I started the show from Housewives with a
Scene number
scandal I
one.
was involved
Right.
in. And people were invested in watching the show for the six of us. No offense to Lisa, but I think very few viewers were tuning in to see Lisa's life because she's not sharing a bunch of her life on the show. It was about us. And because of the success, 11 seasons, 2 Emmy nominations, she's been able to expand her empire. Vanderpump Villa would have never happened if Vanderpump Rules wasn't successful. Overserved, Vanderpump Dogs, all of the things, didn't really hit, but she had all of these opportunities because of a show that we helped make. So it's like, I don't feel I owe Lisa anything. I think I owe Bravo a lot. Like,
Right.
thank you, Bravo, for these amazing opportunities.
I think you can acknowledge all of that, and you can also acknowledge the fact that like you were working for her and that's how you got into the restaurant and the show. But like, again, you're right. Like the early seasons of Vanderpump Rules, which are such kind of landmark seasons of reality TV, it's like what everyone talks about. Like if you want good reality TV, you go to those first 3 or 4 seasons.
Yes.
And that is what, and that's not, as you said, about her. She's involved, but it's about the drama amongst the people.
Yeah.
And that's what people talk about to this day.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting thing. And I think that because she's also maintaining her position, because the show is continuing with this whole new crop of people, it's just this really weird influx transition moment. And but I think it frees you up though.
Yeah.
It really does.
Totally. And it's like I was waiting for this chapter of my life to end. It's not that I wanted it to end, but I was waiting for the last 12, 13 years of like, okay, but what's next? And when is there going to be something next? I'm never going to walk away or quit an Emmy-nominated show, a great opportunity. You have to fire me to get rid of me. But yeah, I feel like with Lisa, it's like, I don't expect anything from her. There's no bad blood. She's my former employer, producer. She's not my family and she doesn't treat me like a friend. And I feel like that's been made pretty clear over the last few years. And I mean, I love and adore Pandora so much, and I never want any issues that I have with her mom to come between our friendship, and hopefully it doesn't, but
Do you expect a call from Lisa? Like I know she likes to make phone calls.
I literally have a trauma response when she calls me.
Because
When
it's
I
always about
see-
something.
It's always something. It's never like because the phone call that I would have expected as a nice one would have been back in 2020 when I had a miscarriage.
Totally.
I didn't get that phone call then. I mean, weeks later after I'm asking for the phone call, I get it. But any other time, it's like what I did wrong or what could I do for her? And that I talked about this, I think, on my podcast or another one recently. The last time she called me, it was a question about Marciano and Demi. Nothing about me or anything like that. It was just like, I need you to tell me exactly what happened. And I'm like, I don't owe you anything. But also, like, if you're thinking this about my friends, I'm going to tell you the truth because I don't want my friends getting in trouble for something that's not true.
Right. Of course.
But it just,
Catch-22.
yeah. So that,
Yeah. I was just curious. So that's
yeah.
and it also helps. I think it fuels a lot of the fan response to you too. And not of your own doing or making, you know?
Yeah.
But so I think that and she knows that.
Mm-hmm.
She knows how to fan the flames.
Yeah.
A lot of
and
people
it's like
do.
you're a producer on The Valley, but you don't know who Kristen's baby daddy is. And I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, the book is available July 22nd. Out
My
for
Good
pre-order
Side.
now.
Period.
What are your thoughts on this season of The Valley so far?
Oh my gosh. I keep saying that like every episode just feels like this like onslaught trauma dump of information.
No, it's
and
dark.
like the after show too is just like a constant like spillage of tea for like 45 minutes. It's a long after show. And I'm
I
not complaining.
know.
I love it. It's like incredible entertainment, but it's just like it's so much information to like keep track of. And I just think that it's so indicative of why the show should exist, why you should be involved, because you all know so much information about each other because you've been involved in each other's lives for so long.
Yeah.
And that is you can't replicate that. You can't fake that. We're hearing all this old stuff from everybody, and like it's just fascinating. It's fascinating. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep track of the group dynamic too, I think.
Yeah, because honestly, it does change. It's changed from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. The reunion, you know, they just filmed. And so they had to binge all of the episodes because Kristen and Nia are like 9 months pregnant.
I can't believe all the episodes are even ready. It's crazy.
Usually it's a rough cut. Sometimes there'll be like a blank
audio
screen and it's
weirdness
like
and-
hold for
Got it.
Kristen's interview bite and stuff like
Got it.
that. But I mean, from what I heard and from what I've seen, it's a pretty put together finished show.
Okay. Did you hear anything about the reunion that you can?
Yeah. So after they filmed the reunion, I met up with Janet, Brittany, and Michelle.
Okay.
I was already getting dinner at Boulevard with my girls, and we were talking about the box. But I was like, hey, after you guys film, you're already gonna be in Glam. Like, you should come
Yeah.
to Boulevard. It's like one of the best restaurants in the Valley,
Never
if not
been. Okay.
the best. It's like the New Craig's. It's this
Love.
really good steakhouse, amazing. And so I wish Michelle said more.
Okay. But they put her on the end. I don't
Yeah.
understand that. I know we've talked about that, but like
I don't understand it either because you have to keep the couples together, but like you don't.
But couldn't she have gone? Couldn't she have gone on the other side of Nia and Danny and been closer? Like it's just I pick when I think about the season of The Valley, it's Jackson, Brittany, and it's Jesse and Michelle. Those are the two big breakups that we're talking
Right.
about. It gets the most airtime,
Yeah.
and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And you can not like her and still acknowledge or not find her. I don't know. People are so mean online, but like you can think that about whoever, but still acknowledge if they're a big player in the season, they deserve a closer spot. They just
Yeah.
do. And if she's on the end, it's hard for her to get a word in edgewise.
Yeah.
Probably.
And then God forbid I comment something
Yep.
on yours
Yep,
that, you know, I'm like, oh, I've been there too. They're like, that's because you're not relevant. That's because you're boring. Da, da, da. Always making it about you.
Speaking
and I'm like,
from experience, thank you very
just
much. Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
And
Can't win.
I'm so sick of everyone giving Michelle so much shit. I
Me
get
too.
it. You are just basing it on what you see. I've known her for years and I have such a soft spot for her. She's such a special person to me. She is such a good friend, such a good mom. Jesse Lally is putting her through hell.
That's what it sounds like.
And he's he's a narcissist, but a smart narcissist. You know, there's Jax, there's James, there's Tom Sandoval. Jesse's really smart and he's really good at putting on the charm. And it's so frustrating. I just talked to Tamara about this yesterday, actually, when we were in Glam. I was like, I don't know if you saw that I was in the comment section on your podcast, but she's like, well, I heard Michelle was. She's like, I need to go and comment back. But I was like, let me just give you a little bit of information because I guess Teddy is kind of friends with Jesse.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe, I feel like maybe I did know that. Anyway, sorry.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah.
But she was like, oh, yeah, well, Teddy's like friends with Jesse. And I'm like, okay, well, Jesse is really good at putting on the charm. And then I just like told Tamra everything that I know. And she was like, wow, he sounds like a douche lord. And I was like, he is. And she was like, okay, I'm going to change my tune on the podcast. And I'm like, I just want you to have some firsthand information because you are doing your job. You are recapping a show.
Yep.
Totally understand. You're only given that information.
Totally.
But let me give you a little bit more.
Yeah. I also think what helps him, honestly, on the show is that, you know, to his benefit, he's sort of the lesser of two evils when compared to Jax in that group. You know what I mean? And so everything that he does is, in comparison, doesn't seem as bad, but it doesn't excuse any of his bad behavior.
Yeah.
And I also think that a lot of viewers are just really latched on to, you know, I think obviously Michelle has maintained that there was no overlap with her new man.
No, there
right.
wasn't.
But she alluded to something of like, there was a little thing, whatever.
Yeah.
But people are latching on to like, oh, Michelle's a cheater. And that
Like
excuses.
she was having like years of affairs.
Totally. And there's a believing what he's saying and that, you know, excuses any of his retaliation basically. And the details in the after show to me are just what really seals it in terms of like, oh, you're just like trying to run her bank account dry for shits and gigs, even though she's supposed to pay for half your daughter's life.
No,
like
literally.
I don't get that doesn't add up to me.
The amount of things that I've seen that he has sent her and that she tells me about, I'm just like, I understand when she said, you know, like maybe I have it worse than Brittany or whatever, and then people ate her alive for saying that. And it's like, it's different. However, I feel like Jax in the divorce is just gonna kind of be like, Brittany, just take whatever. Like, let's just,
He throws in the towel kind of thing.
Whereas Jesse is gonna like nitpick over, like he wants her to pay for half the wedding.
I don't understand that at all.
She didn't even want the wedding.
Right.
Why the fuck is she gonna
I don't
pay
get
for that?
I don't get it.
Insane.
But he enjoys, it feels like he enjoys the sort of tormenting of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I saw this thing on Instagram the other day and it reminded me of him. It was like one of those just like silly little quote things. But it said, a narcissist will neglect their partner and children, but gladly help others to maintain their image and receive praise. They save their toxic behavior for behind closed doors.
especially
And
for
I'm
reality
like,
TV, that feels
Yeah,
apt for a
with
lot
Jesse,
of people.
to others, to the audience, you know, it's like it makes it sound like he's trying his best to co-parent. He's doing everything that's in the best interest of his daughter. And Michelle was going through her mother having cancer and not knowing how much time left she had with her while filming the summer. And then sadly, her mom passed away a few months after filming Wrapped, like 2 months maybe after. And she needed a day just to mourn the loss of her mom, to mourn the loss of Isabella's grandmother, who she was so close with. And she asked Jesse, like, I know it's not your day, but can you please just take Isabella today? Like, I need a day to just sob and not do that in front of my daughter. And it was election day, and he had a party to go to in Orange County. And so he was like, sorry, I can't, but I can take her this weekend. And I'm like,
That's
you know
rough.
what?
That's rough.
It's
That's
just
rough.
disgusting. Like, that moment right there, and then all of the defamatory remarks he's making about her. She's a hooker. She's this, she's that. And the fact that people in the audience are still Team Jesse. Like, Kristen, I love you so much, but like, come on. People who are Team Jesse when he's doing all of these things. And I'm like, let's think about the place Michelle was in. Like, she's finally in a happy relationship. She's raising her daughter and she's losing her mother and dealing with this narcissistic ex all at the same time.
People get tunnel vision a lot,
Yeah.
I think, with this, and they latch onto it and they
Yeah.
don't vacillate.
And Jesse's
that's really
good
unfortunate.
at like the
Fueling
performative
it,
and
right.
like just doing those like big performative
Right.
gestures.
And he's charming and he's
Yes.
attractive and I get it. But
People just think he's the good guy.
yeah, but
He's not.
It's also people just think very black and whitely. And whitely's not a word. Black and white. People think in black and white. But Yeah, I don't. It's frustrating to watch,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes when I talk about the shows online, it's like I feel like I'm going against the grain in that way sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's a mob mentality. That's what
Yeah.
it is. And
Like Jesse does these things where it was our friend Jared's birthday, for example, about a month ago. And Janet and I were at the hotel room, and Jason is still friends with Jesse, whatever. He lives right by Chateau. We were at Chateau. Jesse stopped by. I'm like, I don't even want to see him. I don't want to say hi. I thought he was gone. So I walked through the living room and I see he's still there. And I was like, oh, hey. And I just kept walking. That was it. About 10 minutes later, I guess Janet heard him on FaceTime with Isabella. And he's like, yeah, so I'm with Cameron and Summer's mommies right now. And I'm like, no, you're not.
Nope.
Like, no. And then it's like Michelle's overhearing this. And so then she texts and she's like, wait, what the fuck? And I'm like, no. He is in the other room. I am avoiding him. I walked past him to go to the restroom. I just said, hey. And then you're on FaceTime. I'm like, I'm here with Summer's mommy. And I'm like, am I in this FaceTime with you?
wow.
No, it's just like all of this little shit he does. He's trying to make this divorce as costly as possible for her, which affects his daughter. Why are you trying to take money from your daughter's mother?
That's the detail I can't stop.
I can't get
thinking
over
about.
it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, it's just it's so frustrating, and it's like I just want to support my girlfriends through this time, and I know that calling out, their bad behavior isn't necessarily going to change it, but I at least want my girls to feel more supported. We do have this platform of the show and the podcast and books and all of these things to tell the full story, but everything I've been seeing, I'm just like, I need to speak up more about it because I don't care if it's going against the grain. And this is one thing that I will take from Erica, Dorit, and Tamra in their 40s and 50s. They said, welcome to your 40s. This is a time of giving zero fucks. Who cares what the audience thinks? Have your friends' backs and do what helps you sleep at night. The Valley, I'm not in it that much. Like, I'm there to support my friends. That was my job. Hoping by at least, speaking out on this podcast, even though it's going against the grain, I don't care. Team Michelle, change your tune, people.
There we go. And you have so much, like, your Vanderpump Rules is in a different path now. Like, you have less to lose. Like, fuck it.
Yes. I know.
Fuck it.
And the thing with this show is, like, the stakes are so much higher. There are families involved. There are children. There are marriages, divorces. Like, there's so much more. It's not just we're all working together, drunk. People are hooking up in the SERP bathroom. Like, we've all been there. But yeah, it's just it's a different game now, and
you have every right to share your opinion on it.
Yeah,
and
so
regardless of what anybody thinks,
enter the comment section. Tell me I'm wrong. I don't care because Janet and Michelle are two of my nearest and dearest and closest friends, and I just want to be here to support them. And Brittany, is also going through her own hell as we're watching on the show right now, and I recently, my mother-in-law, she loves doing karaoke when she was in town. On Mondays, they do karaoke at Jax's Bar. And so I'm like, I don't really want to be seen at Jax's Bar, but I want to take, that's where I took her last time, and my friends were there that night. And so I was like, fuck it, we'll go for like a couple songs. And this girl came up to me there, and she's like, wow, I'm surprised to see you here. Like, so you're supporting Jax? And I was like, actually, no, I'm not supporting Jax, but you know what? At the same time, if me being here and spending money supports him, that supports Cruz.
It does support
sure,
Cruz, right?
Because I support anything that supports that kid. I love that kid, and if then so be it. But I'm like, I'm just here to bring my mother-in-law to sing some karaoke. Like, I'm not like, hey everyone, I'm at Jax's Bar tonight. Come. It's just that's the place in the Valley where you go to karaoke on Mondays.
There we go.
But yeah, when she said that, and I was like, you know what? I mean, yeah, I guess I kind of am, but I'm supporting the family, and I will never be Team Jax.
And Brittany would understand exactly that reasoning. You know what I mean?
And Brittany knows no matter what, I have her back. Like there's no flip-flopping Scheana about that. I can
Save
be kind
the emoji
to Jax.
use. Right.
I can be cordial to him. Our kids still go to school together. I see him at school events. He is kind and texts me happy Mother's Day and happy birthday and whatnot. It's like we can be cordial and surface level. We're not best friends. Never gonna be best friends. Unless you get a lobotomy, but I don't know if
That's
those
not
are
happening.
legal.
Judging by the after show, not much has changed.
So I do the Jax hole every week. I didn't prep one this week. I was wondering if maybe you had a Jack's hole.
Oh my God. On the spot.
On the spot.
I'm like, who have we talked shit about today?
I'm like, it's so easy to like make it Jesse or Jax or them,
I
you know,
know.
any week. But anyone that just pops out in your mind?
Who is on my shit list right now?
Otherwise, I'll just make it the delivery driver who took my birthday cake to the wrong house.
Why am I blanking? It's 10 o'clock. I wish I had an answer for you, Scheana.
Okay.
I think we just go with the delivery driver and Jax.
We'll go with that. Yeah. Always an easy Jax hole. Well, thank you guys all for listening. Thank you, Gibson, for joining me in the studio.
Thanks
Not
for
once, but
having
twice
me.
today. I just wasn't there for the first one. And make sure to listen to the Gabbing with Gib podcast. And again, if you haven't already ordered my book, pre-ordered, mygoodsidebook.com. So we'll be back in LA next week. And then I know I'm going to be here soon. And I can't wait to see all of the new shows that Bravo has coming out.
Gonna be a good summer.
Yeah. And I saw the Wicked trailer.
Oh, fun.
That was probably, other than seeing Snoop Dogg perform, the best part of Upfronts
Oh my
was
God,
getting
so-
to see that because it was the world premiere in a small, I mean, a big
Amazing.
room, but
Amazing.
no one else saw it. It's not online.
No, I haven't. No.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know. And we
Charmed.
gotta see it. So, yes. Thank you guys for watching and listening. See you back in LA next week.
Searching for this all my life.